But at any rate, let me get right to it. Let me get right into it, man. Shout out to First Take, Stephen A. Smith, Cam Newton. That is a great thing. I think you're at Delaware State this week. You're going to be going down to the Classic in a few weeks for Bethune-Cookman game, maybe, I think, or something like that. Or you were at the Magic City Classic the week before. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing for HBCUs and exposure you're giving HBCUs on the national scene in comparison to the bigger, PWIs. But there's this thing about probably 1982 where, especially me going to school in Tallahassee, the school across the street, that you kind of saw. And I think it was Sam Bam Cunningham.
Yeah.
Bam Cunningham. It said it was another guy before that, but that first one when you saw the black players, going into the bigger schools, leaving the HBCUs, and then you don't see any more Eddie Robinsons and Jake Gaithers surface anymore. I get all of that, and everybody's blaming the white man for taking all our talent. See, the thing is, when I went to the Magic City Classic, Alabama is a hotbed for football, and Alabama is a hotbed for college football. Alabama is a hotbed for football in general, just like Texas, even though Texas has professional teams. Alabama conducts its business of football without a professional team. And the spirit of football in Alabama is rich, runs deep. If you've never been to Magic City Classic, I'm here to tell you, man, it is probably twice or three times the size of the Florida Classic. Same atmosphere, but definitely a different monster, so to speak. They say tickets were sold out. Legion Field seats about 77,000. I think they still sold 83,000 tickets because you can have SRO at those games because traditionally, from a youthful standpoint, if it's a good football game, you're going to watch it. And then there are older people and traditional people who just want to watch the football game, and then, you have the youthful side of it and the eventful side of it that just wants to tailgate, be in the exterior part of the stadium and the interior part of the stadium and walk around the bowl. I'm not mad at that because I used to do it in my youth before I watched the game. But this game in particular, it was a rout, and it ended up being 49. Yeah, it was 49-6 by halftime. But of course, everybody stayed through halftime because the tradition of black culture and HBCUs is we're going to watch the Battle of the Bands. That's any HBCU in the U.S. Past 25 years, 30 years, since this transition of talent came about, 40-some years actually, a new culture of we're going to leave after halftime started. We're not going to watch a full game because we're not watching competitive football, right? So now, you got this NIL that's come up, and you got a lot of even before NIL, you had a lot of the pay under the table and all the kids and all of the facilities and all of these things that HBCUs weren't getting because the PWIs had them, because the PWIs had more alumni and more money. Well, I'm here to tell you this, man. We got to cut this out. We got to stop that excuse. And here's why. Because this whole culture of leaving halftime, I know it's 49-6 and it's hard to stay at a game like that, but this whole culture of leaving halftime is hurting revenue. There's this theory, and I'm jumping into the NFL right now. There's this theory that Jerry Jones actually, the concession stands end at the third quarter, right? And Jerry Jones will keep a game close up until the beginning of the fourth quarter to sell more beer. I used to think that was a phenomenal hypothetical theory until I looked at the numbers. And then I started looking at the games a little closer, and I said, is he really doing this? But they weren't doing it consistently enough for me to say for sure if it was happening. But from where I'm coming from as far as the HBCU game, me and my cousin, we left that stadium, right? Where we were leaving the stadium. And if there were 83,000 people there, I'm going to say we were 2 and my family. So that made about 9 who went to the game who left after halftime. This is a HBCU tradition. Whether the game is good or not, once the band's over,
Yes.
time to get ready for the party. And you're asking yourself why you don't have this facility and you don't have that facility. Here's why. Because when we went under the bleachers, we were thirsty. Everybody knows that when you're on vacation and at a game, you're going to pay a little higher price. There's a markup. That's fine. You're supporting. But I paid $5 for a Coke. And actually, I said, you know what, cuz, I got you this time. So actually, I paid $10 for a Coke. Now, the truth of the matter is I paid $36 because me and my cousin both had a little extracurriculars to go with that Coca-Cola. But I said to myself, I said, as he guzzled his, I guzzled mine, and we weren't even out of the stadium yet. We were thirsty again. I said, we would do that in the stands watching the third quarter. That might have been $72. So I said to myself, of the 83,000, half of 83, I'm just using round numbers, 80, 40. 40,000 people in the third quarter bought a Coke for $5. That's 200,000.
Mm-hmm.
There's 200,000 just in the third quarter. 200,000 lost.
Yeah.
In the third quarter. How many HBCU games people leaving halftime and 20,000 people leaving? It's 100,000 lost in the third quarter. But your school can't compete. Oh, you want to blame the white man? Oh, I ain't even blaming the band. Blame yourself because your culture has decided that there's no HBCU football after halftime. And when you do that, you hurt the revenue. And you don't look at it like that. Because if I'm not mistaken, 12 games college football, 6 home games,
Yep.
third quarter, 600,000 a year. That's definitely a new rehab facility. That's definitely a new locker room for some recruit to look at. That's definitely some NIL money. We just talking one school.
It's definitely another uniform that can be added that you want to wear.
That's another uniform that can be added that you want to wear. All because you don't watch football after the halftime show. This ain't no white tradition. This black tradition. You can only blame you. Because the Coke still going to be $5. Whether you leave the stadium or not. I'm lying at the store, it might be $2.79. But still, that shit go to the school. And that's just the Coke. Popcorn, t-shirt, all of those things. At some point, you got to blame yourself for what you keep blaming the white man for. If you want to compete. My cousin don't even go to HBCU games and say, okay, when it's halftime, that's when we leaving. Because he know the culture.
Sad.
Traditionally. I don't care what y'all got to do as far as the SWAC, MEAC, referees are concerned, but y'all need to manipulate the game or something to keep them close. Y'all got to do something. Because there is monetary loss with this tradition. And you need to fix it. But you're always crying about what people didn't give you, opportunities you don't get that they get. Look internally at the opportunities you take away from yourself.
Yes, that definitely holds water because it does.
You know it happens. Every classic.
Yeah. And let me just say one thing about that, and
Hey,
then we could be out.
you
That
got
not only that, it but also if you got half of the stands pouring out, and these games are nationally televised, it's a bad look nationally, and it's a bad look as far as someone saying, "Hey, we're gonna broadcast the next one," because
I ain't
you
even,
know,
I'm not even talking about getting there on
yeah,
CP.
yeah, it's a bad look when they come back at halftime and everybody's gone or half the people gone. As far as because they like to show the crowds at all games, and now all of a sudden you got to pan down the field level because all or only one day area because everybody's gone. It's not good for television, and they
It's
do
not good.
want things to be visually appealing on TV, and empty stands are not. It's not a good
You
look.
understand after halftime,
Yeah.
and even when you televise those games, they are, well, a big tradition at HBCU, and I'm not taking anything away from the band, but a big tradition at HBCU gonna be the band, so we gonna stay here for the band. Stay here for that too, but don't make that the end all be all.
Hmm.
But I see why you did it from a production standpoint because we did it too.